What's up, everybody? Welcome to the WWE Fight Pit here in House Call Sports. My name is Sammy. That's Justin. That's Ollie. And today we will be discussing Liv Morgan and her shenanigans with Dominic Mysterio, NXT and TNA collabing, and a major surprise this year, Alpha Academy, and more. But we can't go on with this video without mentioning our sponsor, Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats is the most trustworthy and easy to navigate ticketing website. They have reliable and rewarding tickets and a 100% buyer's guarantee, which means your transaction will be safe and secure. You will get full service customer care and be compensated for any canceled event. And it's got the only ticket rewards program around, which means that NXT Battleground Vegas is this Sunday. If you have not secured your tickets to that event, go ahead and secure them now using our link in the description, using Vivid Seats so that you can go sit vividly. Now, wow, what a week it's been for my television. It's been very interesting. All right, I'll get it out the way. Dominic Mysterio, I'm calling you out, man. I don't know what you do. I don't know what kind of gig that you have against Triple H that you could just be a part of these storylines with these exceptional women, for lack of a better term. I'm pissed off. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pissed off because I think I'm pretty damn good looking. I don't think Dom's that good looking. He is married, so maybe I'm not, what I'm trying to say is I'm jealous. Okay, I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. I think it me. I really should have. I mean, we're both Hispanic. We both have an extreme amount of charisma. Liv Morgan, come on. I mean, I love my girlfriend. Anyway, what we're gonna do?
Make sure you said that.
Liv Morgan has been is now a part of one of the more interesting programs right now in wrestling, with her little Liv Morgan revenge tour taking an unexpected, dare I say, romantic turn, and her really wanting to take everything away from Rhea Ripley, including Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Ollie, I'll go ahead and start with you. What do you think of the direction of the women's champion Liv Morgan and this entire thing with the Judgment Day and Dominic Mysterio?
Well, if I'm Dom right now, I'm fucking loving life. I mean, it's like, in like cartoons where you've got an angel on one shoulder and the demon on the other, and they're both telling you different things. He's got Rhea on one shoulder, Liv on the other, and he doesn't know. But I did see an interview.
He had Ray on one shoulder and Eddie on the other.
My God. The Eddie's doing most of the talking. I'll tell you
Eddie
that.
is definitely. Eddie's taking the whip, mate. You don't get that long hair and the mustache and it not be Eddie somehow. But I saw an interview. I don't know how long ago this was, but I was just scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, and I just see an interview that Dominic Mysterio is doing. It's in Spanish, and the interviewer calls Rhea Ripley hot, and Dom was not happy with that at all. Like, he threw his cup, he threw his drink on the interviewer or something, and then stormed off. So, first of all, much respect to my brother for keeping kayfabe well and truly alive. Like, that's something we don't see a lot now. And secondly, it does show you that as much as it's in character and all, and nothing's actually meant by it, he does still have the connection with Rhea Ripley, and this is going to get very spicy when she returns, and spicy, that has a double meaning, I'll tell you that much. I'm not suggesting any Edge and Lita things going on, although with the way Dom and I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Netflix, you never know. Instead of celebrating a championship, they're celebrating the 10-year deal with Netflix. Anyway, that's all I'm saying. Raw Day 1, 2025, who says no? But I find it weird, right? And this is something that I think has only been able to be achieved because of the fact that Triple H is going and taking charge. This entire storyline has started from an Instagram post. That was it. It was an Instagram post that Dom liked, and it's just sort of snowballed from there. And I think we never would have seen that with Vince. That never would have happened. And it's a brand new way of engaging with people, and they're taking a new turn. They're exploring different things, and I really like it with this. But as for Liv Morgan, I think we're sort of going to see now a bit what we saw with Cody when between losing to Roman at WrestleMania 39 and then beating him at WrestleMania 40. Because until Rhea Ripley comes back, there's really nothing for her. Like, so I think she might just bounce around, have different matches, you know, maybe a feud here and there with someone random, I don't know. But nothing really too meaningful until Rhea Ripley returns. So as for the direction I see Liv going, it's just going to be purgatory, basically, until Rhea comes back. But with this storyline with Dom, this could go in so many directions, and I fucking called it. I said a few weeks ago that we were going to get an ending to this, like a whole, not necessarily an ending, but something was going to happen soon. And ended up, she fucking kissed him after Raw went off air. I'm not sure if there was any, you know, tactical storyline things with why they cut that off, but I don't know. All I'm saying is I fucking predict these things. I'm like Mystic Mac out here, so I don't know if I have a prediction for you this time. I do have a warning, though, that my camera is fucking dead. Right? No, it's not dead. It's just this.
I don't know either. Get that iPad back next week. Let me tell you, man. Let me go ahead and say this. I have an excitement and a worry for the direction that Liv Morgan is on right now. An excitement because this is going to be very entertaining television concerning like Dominic Mysterio. Even Finn Balor is kind of a part of it. You see, I think it's going to be a sort of love triangle between those three. And there might be a love square with Rhea Ripley coming back. Who knows? I will say this. I think right now they're obviously teasing Dominic Mysterio siding with Liv eventually. I think they're definitely doing that. Because when Rhea Ripley comes back, she's coming back as a babyface. And they are not turning Dominic Mysterio face. They are not. It's literally impossible. He's still extremely hot as a heel. He literally gets booed out the building. The only reason everybody shut up and listened to him the other night was because, well, Liv Morgan's in the ring with him. So it's like, ooh, what could happen next? You feel me? With all those freaks in that arena. I know in Hershey, Pennsylvania, I know there are some definitely over there. With that being said, here's my concern. Yes, this is a very entertaining storyline. However, concerning the women's division, it's kind of going to be a bit of a stagnant and stale, you know, kind of moment for the rest of until Rhea Ripley comes back. And I think they're doing this because, well, quite frankly, there's nobody that can really compete with Liv Morgan right now that makes sense, right? You got Lyra Valkyria, who makes sense storyline wise, but she's new, she's young, she's not ready for that. Io Sky just finished. I think their direction with Io Sky is good. However, she's a heel, so that's another different thing. I think right now the women's roster in Raw is taking a bit of a hit. It's taking a hit. So now you got Becky Lynch gone, you got Rhea Ripley gone. So two of your biggest powerhouses in that Raw division are gone. Okay, now it's Liv Morgan who's gonna have to carry this, and she's carrying it, not really focusing on the women's division itself, more on focusing on Dominic Mysterio and, you know, building heat towards Rhea Ripley's return. So my only thing is that I wish that they really tried to build up another babyface aside from Rhea Ripley, who's about to come back. I understand Lyra Valkyria is another one, but again, she's still young. There's really nobody in that Raw roster that I think is you know, makes sense to really, you know, become a contender. And I think that might be why they're like, okay, let's take a break from this women's division stuff. Let's do something interesting with this. And they're kind of just dragging this Liv Morgan revenge tour, dragging it in a good way. I mean, again, this is a great storyline. I think a lot of people are interested in it. However, there's a women's division that needs to be built. And right now, the only people who are everybody who I think could be a realistic star is either in a tag team or they're not ready yet, or they're Io Sky, and Io Sky's a heel. So it's definitely interesting to see. As for the storyline itself, I'm set. Okay, I'm ready to see. I'm eating this up. Okay, mostly because of jealousy, but I'm eating it up. All right. Liv Morgan, her, you know what? Dom's married doing this. Like I'm thinking about it now. Like they must have signed something. They really must have signed something before doing all this. The wife must have gotten some kind of compensation or something. Because there's no way. Like me, I'm selfish. Okay, Ollie, don't.
Yo, I'm thinking Uncle Howdy about to show up.
Yo, where's the QR code at this point? Right? Just pop up a QR code at this point.
Oh,
where is it?
No,
yeah, you know what? That's
I think his wife had to actually either know well in advance that something like this was going to happen, or the fact that they have been together so long that she has seen WWE storylines, especially because fucking Dominic's father is Rey Mysterio, so he's like she's familiar with these storyline arcs, but there's something boiling just a little bit under her skin about this. And speaking of boiling skin, I could Sammy, I could tell your girlfriend does not watch these episodes.
She does sometimes, and that's an entire thing for another day.
Let's talk about the storyline though. So this storyline is showing what WWE can do under Triple H, because he is taking facets of television, WWE TV, and social media. He's going where he knows his fans are. And he knows, if we put this little snippet on Instagram or on TikTok, guess what? It's going to draw massive attention. And that attention comes right back to the next week's episode of Raw, because you're getting more and more eyeballs everywhere, which is a great marketing ploy on him. So good on him. The bad marketing ploy is why, when you posted that picture with Liv and that photo of Dom on the side of the truck, why do you have old Dom? Where's the mullet? Where's the mustache? But you know what? I digress on that. It is interesting how it has taken over, because people who don't even watch wrestling have some kind of idea about this going on. This whole Liv and Dom thing has become the equivalent to a novela for every Hispanic. This is like the soap opera that you love to see. Heck, even Jordan Grace, who we will talk about later, the current TNA Knockouts champion, even made a tweet about this, saying that if this doesn't end in a custody Dominic ladder match, what are we even doing here? With a photo of the kiss on her Twitter. Left, right, and center. Now, going into the women's division. The women's division is kind of in a purgatory right now. The only person that I can see right now getting any kind of opportunity at a title match right now is maybe Lyra Valkyria or Io Sky. But it seems like WWE is putting those two against each other, more than likely to create a number one contendership opportunity to go after Liv. And I think they are pivoting this in the best way that they can, because they need to take attention away from the fact that they are kind of talent deprived, which is something we have been talking about on this show for weeks now. We said the same thing with the SmackDown women's division. You just are missing a key piece. For Raw, they are missing baby faces. For SmackDown, they are missing heels. And unless you see some trades back and forth between the two, this is what we have to do. And this is going to stretch out for a little bit of time until Rhea inevitably does come back. And when she does come back, I cannot wait to hear how this goes.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, let me tell you. I'm excited for it, mostly because I'm interested to see how Rhea really operates as a true babyface and how her presentation is going to go. Are they going to present her? I think they're going to present her the pretty much the exact same, but she's going to get a babyface pop. Man, I've been doing a little bit of like brainstorming, like who's going to get a bigger pop when they come back, right? Rhea Ripley, Roman Reigns, or Otis when he turns on Chad Gable, man. Like, who's gonna get a bigger pop, man? I'm wondering. I'm gonna go with Roman.
It's still gonna be Roman. It's still gonna. They're gonna milk this new bloodline thing so much, and they're gonna just do like some of the most despicable things, and then Roman comes back. All of a sudden, the roof blows out the place. No disrespect to Rhea. Rhea's gonna get her pop when she come back, but the day Roman Reigns comes back into the ring, you better hope that there's no roof on the stadium because that's getting blown out.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see when Roman Reigns comes back. He's got to come back a babyface. I don't think that should be a debate. He needs to come back as a babyface. And if he doesn't, I'm gonna question. Just my only thing is just make him a babyface the way he is now. My least favorite part is when they turn babyface and they become completely different characters. The best thing about The Miz and his babyface turn and why it's more enjoyable, even though I enjoy it more as a heel, he does the same shenanigans, right? He does the exact same shenanigans. He's just a babyface. And that's why his feud with Gunther for the Intercontinental title was one of the better ones in Gunther's reign. So I think that example they need to continue to do more of. Roman Reigns, babyface, keep him the same way. I mentioned Otis and the pop he might get. That's a pretty good segue to our next topic. Alpha Academy. Man, I thought we were watching the Bloodline. The way everybody's just so invested in these stories, man. I gotta say, Chad Gable's heel turn has really turned some heads, and that's really created something that people have really cared about. Justin, I'm gonna go ahead and start with you. What are your thoughts on Alpha Academy and the cinema that they're producing on television right now?
I'll be honest, I'm shocked by how well this is going with Alpha Academy. I knew the Chad Gable heel turn would work well for him specifically because I felt like he always needed that heel turn to like take his character to the next level. But the way that this is helping draw more attention towards Alpha Academy as a whole, and the way that the crowd is eating it all up, it's shocking in the best way possible. Y'all remember when Otis was like first popping up when he got the Money in the Bank briefcase and he was like that main character in it? He like got the pop from the crowd because he's a big guy. He does the worm, which he calls the caterpillar for some odd reason, but everybody loved Otis. So the fact that now you implemented that former love for Otis with this heel turn of Chad Gable's to the point where Gable is trying to brainwash Otis to do his dirty work, and Otis seems to have like this conflicting thing of, do I listen to my coach or do I do what feels right? And I thought we were gonna see it this past week after the whole thing with the whole incident with what's the girl's name?
Maxine Dupree.
Maxine. Because when Maxine fell off the ring, I did because of a hit, incidental contact. I thought that was going to be the time where it snapped with him that I'm going to flip out and take out Chad Gable's head. But no, he decided to do it to Sami Zayn instead, and then left with not one, but both members of the Academy, showing how freakishly strong he is. So I think it's going to take a couple months. I think it's going to be after Gable wins the IC title. But when Otis turns, I see that championship match coming sometime in the future.
Yeah, another thing that this has done is Chad Gable's heel turn has made is making, a new star in Otis. Now, we all know Otis is it's so over as just a baby face. Like his look, like just the way he walks, the way he, I don't know if I don't want to use the term aura. I just feel like that term should be used differently. But like, he definitely has a babyface kick to him that everybody can get behind. And I think that's very significant if you want to make Chad Gable a believable heel. Yeah, absolutely. And I was speaking to somebody who was like very against it and saying that Chad Gable, this wasn't believable for him. And it's like, I 1000% would believe Chad Gable would just become this tyrant of a head coach after constantly losing, seeing himself surrounded by losers losers, quote unquote, like Alpha Academy, and turning into this tyrant. And I think the way that he has been presented, just, degrading Alpha Academy, it works tremendously in his character. And him doing it, that has turned Otis into a massive babyface. He might be more over than Sammy at this point. That's how over this guy is. And this is no discredit to Sammy, but Otis right now is up there right now. Because when he eventually turns on Chad Gable, you saw the reaction when Otis just simply went in front of Chad Gable. Mm-hmm. That's saying something. That's bloodline type of reactions. I said it before and I'll say it again. So overall, I'm extremely ecstatic for what's about to happen with Chad Gable, with Otis, with Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn's in next week I'll reveal it, but I'll spoil it now. I think Sami Zayn's going to lose at Clash at the Castle, and we're going to extend this Alpha Academy storyline further and further. From there on, I don't know what they're going to do with Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn has had a solid reign. He doesn't need to, keep the title for too long, but I'm really invested in Chad Gable and this Alpha Academy storyline. What they're doing with Otis is amazing. Go ahead, Ollie.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm a lot more invested in this than I thought I would be, and there's a few reasons for that. I know the term cooking is used quite a lot, and it's borderline overused now, but I think if you look at it from a literal sense, they are genuinely cooking. Like, you have different ingredients. You've got an ingredient from even Otis, a few of his storylines back in the day, one with Maxine, the one with Mandy Rose. You've got an ingredient from Kurt Angle with the way that Chad Gable's getting treated now. You've got ingredients here from Sami Zayn and how he left the bloodline. Like, it's just taken aspects from all of these different things, and like I said, I'm more invested than I thought I was going to be, because this just seems like a rinse and repeat of the same storyline we've seen from Otis twice before. If you remember, with Mandy Rose, she took him out of Heavy Machinery. And now, don't forget how Maxine ended up actually joining Alpha Academy, was because she tried to tempt him out and to join Maximum Male Model. So this is, like, now we're seeing, yet again, Otis involved in another tag team breakup storyline, but this is going to be so fucking good. And this reminds me exactly how Sami Zayn left the bloodline, because he's getting treated like a piece of shit by Chad Gable currently, as Sami Zayn was by Roman Reigns. And when Roman was forcing Sami to do everything for him, that is exactly what Gable is doing with Otis. And we saw how that ended back at the Royal Rumble about a year and a half ago, and this is exactly the direction I was thinking they should take with this, and exactly how I was hoping they should do this. Because nobody, like, I don't know if I could say nobody was expecting this, but it seemed to be going so well. People were bought into the idea of Alpha Academy being the top babyface tag team in the company, and I don't know, the way they've gone around this, like I said, very good. Reusing this storyline, but in the best way possible. Like, I'm normally someone who can't stand when you can tell that it's a storyline that we've seen before, especially so many times. But the way that this Chad Gable heel turn has not only made him so much more of a star, like he wasn't already, but this has also put so many more eyes on Otis. And I think now he's probably more over than he was during his Money in the Bank run and during the Mandy Rose storyline. So when you have a story like this, which has not only made arguably a top heel in the company right now in Chad Gable, but has also got a compelling storyline and a new amazing solo babyface. I don't know if Tozawa was going to stick with him or whatever, or he could have Maxine as a manager. But when you've got a storyline that can take all of those things and just make them all happen at once, you've absolutely fucking won.
But I got a question for the panel, but before we go anywhere further, because we talked about Sami Zayn and how he left the bloodline. Remember, it took one major specific event that caused that shift, and that was when Roman told him, gave him a chair and said, go ahead and basically hit KO with it. Is there an event that you can see coming that you think will trigger this turn against Chad Gable? Because I have something in mind, but it's kind of a trigger warning. I think it's going to take Chad Gable attempting to hit Maxine Dupree in order for Otis.
Are they really gonna?
No, they're not gonna do the actual hit. They're gonna have him knock back like he's gonna do it.
Man, that's great heel work, but I don't know, in today's climate of WWE, I don't see it happening. Also, there are others. I think that it is a strong possibility, I'll say. However, and it would be great. I think it would work wonders. However, I don't know in this WWE climate if they're gonna really allow it, especially with so many other. I know it would like get a huge pop if Otis like really like comes in and protects him and like just snaps on Chad Gable, but man, I just don't know, especially in today's climate, not just in the climate in WWE, but in the climate in America. I don't know, man. It'd be a risk.
I'll be honest. WWE has been pushing that line the closer that they get to their Netflix deal starting. So could we honestly see that WWE doesn't try to toe that line just a bit?
I mean, man, here's my thing though. Like, do you think that there's something with Tozawa in here that they might
I was going to say something to Zal.
Go ahead, Ollie.
No, I just think it seems more likely than Maxine due to the fact that, okay, I think they might tease something between Chad Gable maybe trying to attack Maxine, but I think they'll stop at that. I think that's all it's ever going to turn out to be, which is just teasing the fact that it could happen. But I don't think it ever will, because of the point you said, Sammy. There is no fucking way in this day and age, in this modern time, that they'll ever get away with doing something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe doing what Seth Rollins did during his like cult leader phase, when he like beat the heck out of Dominic Mysterio with a kendo stick, probably doing that to Tozawa.
There could be something to do with the new.
It's got to be emotional. It's got to be emotional.
It's got to elicit emotion.
Yeah, because right now,
I was thinking.
Go ahead, Ollie.
No, so I was thinking we could have something where, like you said, with Seth Rollins' cult leader thing, we could see something very similar to how that started when Seth had AOP. We could now see something, because there's been murmurs of a new Alpha Academy with Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. That could be something, and then we could see, I don't know, Otis getting attacked backstage, then it turns out to be the Creed brothers, and then it turns out like to be Chad Gable behind all that, and then we get a massive attack, say on Raw or something, and that's the moment you're looking for.
Here's my thing. I think that would already show the audience, okay, it's happening, Otis. I feel like it's got to be a moment where maybe the Creed brothers they join Alpha Academy. They don't attack Otis, but they help Chad Gable discipline, so to speak, Tozawa. And that's when Otis really turns on Chad, and that turns into a huge moment in that storyline. The point here that I want to make is that it's got to be timed right. I don't think Sami Zayn should be the catalyst of why Otis turns on Gable. I think Sami Zayn and the Intercontinental Championship at this point, like, it's not really about him right now. He is the champ, but it's not about him, and that's okay. He's already had his time. Now it's really about Otis, it's about Chad Gable, and it's about the Alpha Academy. So I'm curious to see what exactly they're going to do moving forward. I'm scared, though, because I'm scared that they might make Sami Zayn the catalyst for why Otis turns, and I think that'll be very anticlimactic. It'll still get a pop, but I just wouldn't appreciate it more than it has to be within the group. That something within the group has to happen, and that's when the turn happens.
It's definitely going to be within the group. Like, it has to. 100% has to be.
All right, so with that, we'll move on. NXT. We'll go ahead and say it. NXT NA. Wow, so original. Let me just say, what HBK is doing right now in NXT might be better than what Triple H did at NXT down the long run. And I'm going to tell you guys why. Triple H is not just taking a bunch of guys from the indies, putting them into this, putting them under the WWE umbrella, completely separate from Vince McMahon, and just booking a super indie show, right? This is not that. NXT is actively developing the talent to go to the main roster, telling compelling stories that lead to great PLEs that we all love to see. And it's building up new stars. Trick Williams is huge already, okay? And the funny thing is, kind of showed yesterday, he's not ready. He's not ready for the main roster at all, actually, which is kind of nuts. And with that said, I think that the fact that he's not ready just goes to show that, and the fact that he's not ready and he's already that big of a star within the WWE cycle, that just goes to show, hey, he's going to be ready very soon. And when he does debut, he's going to get a huge reaction. But also, we'll go ahead and talk about the TNA thing. Jordan Grace, TNA Knockouts champion. appeared in NXT last week to challenge Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. Very interesting match that's going to be. I really doubt that they put Jordan Grace over here. However, I doubt that Roxanne wins clean. I think that they need to really present. In order for this to work, in my opinion, I think they really need to make sure that they protect both superstars. You cannot have Jordan Grace lose clean to Roxanne Perez, in my opinion. Jordan Grace's look and the way she presents herself, I mean, the physique that she has, she cannot lose clean. She cannot. If she lose clean, it would be an extreme disservice to TNA, and in all honesty, to NXT as well, because that's just showing, oh, the developmental brand is more important than your brand in general. Like, I don't like that, and I don't think HBK wants to do that either. With that being said, I'm excited to see what NXT and TNA are going to do down the line. Apparently, this is going to be a thing moving forward. You see Ollie's little tag there. Joe, I believe in Joe Hendry. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Will it be Joe Hendry, though? Or will it be somebody else? I don't know. I have a feeling that maybe we can get somebody like Moose, right? Here's a plot twist. Here's a plot twist. You guys are going to laugh. Yo.
There we go.
In TNA right now. Who's in TNA right now, right? Okay, obviously Joe Hendry's there. Obviously Moose is there. You want to know who else is there? Freaking Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler, is in TNA right now. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the reaction that that'll get? Granted, it's cheating. I think it's cheating, bringing him in and having him be the guy in NXT.
You know who I want to see go to NXT?
Who, Justin?
Somebody who I thought was the most disrespected high flyer in WWE during his time there. And that's Mustafa Ali, because he's in TNA and he's the X Division champion in TNA. Right.
I think that would make sense as well. I think you can make some. Like, I don't know, man. Brooks Jensen also was on social media and he is like, oh, maybe I'll make an impact. Look, by the way, please, WWE, don't just send Brooks Jensen over there. Please. That's
Did you see what he had in his background? Did you see the video that he posted? Yeah. Did you see what he had on the TV in the background?
I did not see. Was it Impact?
Fucking Joe Hendry's Titantron video.
Oh my gosh.
And
Joe Hendry, man.
Yeah. But as much as I think this could be, we're all lauding the fact that they could bring multiple TNA stars over to WWE, I also, like, this could very much work the other way around as well. This is not just going to stop at, all right, we're farming TNA pretty much for a few stars to come over. We're going to see people go the other way. AJ Styles, I think, is going to be a big one because it's TNA's 22nd anniversary coming up. And he's been talking about he doesn't know how long he's got left in the WWE and all that. We are 100% seeing AJ Styles going back over there. I know Tatum Paxley's been teasing it. But do you know who else? You've thrown around a few names. I can't remember if this was just, I said this last week or a few weeks ago. Do you know who else is in TNA? The Milan Miracle himself, Santino Marella. And if
oh man,
he's in charge of TNA.
He's the director of authority in TNA. So we could see Santino coming back.
Random, completely random. He calls himself the director of authority.
Yeah. Have you not been keeping up? This is
his literal title.
No, I have. However, like, does that even logically make sense? Director of authority. So he's the director of like leader. Okay. For me, it just doesn't make sense in my head because it sounds dumb. I don't know what it is. It might have something to do with the fact that Santino Marella is actually like doing it. Maybe the sound of him saying it, like director of authority. Like I just can't.
The best line. Do you remember when he returned last year at Hard to Kill when he debuted in TNA? Do you remember what he said to Moose and Joe Hendry? It was amazing because when he made his grand debut after the Digital Media Championship match between Joe Hendry and Moose, Moose had won by giving Hendry a low blow behind the rest back, and then Santino comes out and he goes, "Now I was watching backstage and I saw what you just did. To kick a man in the scrotissimus region, that's disgusting."
Scrotissimus region?
In the what region?
Scrotissimus region.
Scrotissimus, is that an actual term? Hold on. That might be
It
an
is
actual
now.
term.
It
This
is now.
rotissimus region sounds
My gosh.
so
No,
bad.
the thought of Santino Marella being in NXT, that right there.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Santino showing up in NXT or Santino coming back to WWE is not going to happen until, and WWE has said that they are trying to make this happen, until WWE brings a PLE to Italy, which they said they want to do. And that's the perfect time to bring him in. And Santino Marella's daughter is actually an NXT superstar who's coming back from injury. So perfect time to bring both of them back.
It is a perfect time, man. Let's talk about something else. It's not just TNA that's making waves in NXT. It's also Ethan Page, who is already staking his claim as the #1 contender for the NXT title as soon as he came in. I don't know about you guys. I absolutely am a big fan of that. I think Ethan Page coming in and shooting at the top makes complete sense given how he presents himself. He already presents himself as a top heel. And I think that is so important for any talent that you're trying to bring in from somebody else. You got to present him as a top heel. And what Ethan Page did is that he presents himself. He talks like he's a top heel. He acts like a top heel. He even manipulates like a top heel. He banters with the crowd like a top heel. If he's in NXT, I'm going to say, I think he should be the NXT champion. I really do think he should. I really do think he should win it off Trick Williams. I know that's a crazy thing to say, and it would kind of be weird given that we're entering the Trick Willie era. But man, Ethan Page screams top guy. He really does. And I know, I know Trick Williams just won it, right? And it'd be so messed up. However, you cannot deny how good Ethan Page already is. Right, the fact that he can come in and just fill, which he was right yesterday, he just fill a huge void in the NXT main event scene just like that. That just goes to show you how good he presents himself as a heel in the company. Now, I'm surprised that AEW couldn't find anything for him to do. With the amount of titles that they have over there, I thought he could have carried one of them and had some kind of reign, or maybe be a part of some kind of feud over there for one of those titles. Clearly that didn't happen. I think AEW lost a good one. Now AEW will be fine. They got MJF, so MJF is that guy. But Ethan Page, man, he screams top star. He's going to be in the WWE in less than a year. I do genuinely believe he's not going to be in NXT for that long. He already has everything that you need in a WWE superstar. He's got the physique. He's got the promo. He's got the in-ring ability. It's all about timing and time and place for WWE at this point. And I think Ethan Page can fill that void pretty easily. Justin, what do you think of Ethan Page?
I think Ethan Page is probably way too advanced of a level to be in NXT, honestly. But I do see where it's coming from. Maybe not a lot of people know who Ethan Page is, and you want to develop him in that WWE umbrella starting in NXT. I personally, though, don't believe that Trick Williams should drop the title to him this quickly. Maybe this is something that can boil over into the next PLE, where then Ethan Page can win the title. But I just don't see a situation ending well where you just finished this not major storyline, but major storyline for NXT, where Trick Williams had to go through Carmelo Hayes, go through Ilya Dragunov to win that title, and then for him to drop it on his first or second defense overall, it makes no sense. It'll make more sense that they have a bomb match, Trick wins, all of a sudden we have more craziness happening in the next couple of weeks, and then the next PLE, that's when Ethan Page could win the title, because then you're giving him more time to develop that, what Sammy likes to say, aura with the crowd in NXT. So I feel like that would be the perfect play for him if you're not going to go the traditional NXT route of going after the North American Championship and then the NXT title. But that's where I think it should go, because the last time you had somebody just come into NXT and immediately win the championship. That was Dolph Ziggler. And that was because NXT was kind of going through a dark age at that time because we really didn't have like stars that we do now in this generation of NXT.
Right, and ultimately, it's got to be said. I don't think this is the last signing that WWE does outside of their comfort zone. I know they really like having homegrown talent, and they got homegrown talent, right? You got Gallus there, you got Oba Femi, Wesley. They're in an interesting feud for the NXT men's North American title. There's some stars that they want to grow in house. However, it comes to a point they had to say, you know what, we need some help, and that's why they brought in Ethan Page, and I think it works perfectly. Ollie, what do you think of Ethan Page?
Pretty much exactly that. Ethan Page kind of reminds me of Grayson Waller back in his NXT days. He just carried himself so much like a top heel and has the potential to be a top heel in the company as a whole. But I do think this was brought in just because WWE or NXT, have got nothing really for Trick Williams right now. I mean, since the whole thing with Carmelo Hayes, and then Carmelo gets called up, so then he's like, okay, we're going to put you in a title feud with Ilya Dragunov. And then Ilya gets called up, so he's like, all right, where do we go from here? He's had the whole thing with Lash Legend, but that's pretty much been about it. And they, like you said, they pretty much reached a point where they need to say, all right, as much as we have as many promising stars right now within the company, we have to look elsewhere to not only does it draw engagement because people love it when you debut people from other companies who have already established themselves outside of WWE. Like, remember back in the day when you had people like Samoa Joe, Eric Young,
right,
James Storm, people like that coming in, that created such a buzz around NXT because they were bringing people like that in, and that thing is exactly what's happening here. And there's people complaining that I've seen about the fact that Ethan Page is just getting thrown straight into the main event in NXT, getting thrown straight into an NXT championship match. But where else do you put it? Like, Oba Femi is tied in with Wes Lee right now. Like, there's a triple threat match going on at Battleground. So
you can take Mark Coffey out of that match and put Ethan Page in it.
Yeah. You can take Mark Coffey and put him in the world title scene if you really wanted to. The only thing is that right now he's kind of in again, how believable is Mark Coffey right now as a world title contender? And I just don't think he is right now. Go ahead, Ollie.
No. So that was pretty much it. I mean, I do agree with the fact that we will see Ethan Page on the main roster very soon. Like, I think maybe even within this year, like towards this, like November, December, because I don't think Trick's going to lose at Battleground. I think that's going to, like you said, Justin, it makes no sense to have him in such a compelling storyline, both with Carmelo Hayes and with Ilya Dragunov, busting his ass so hard to get the championship just to lose it after 2 title defenses. That doesn't make sense, really. So, as much as you want to push Ethan Page to be like this new guy and you want to make him a star as quickly as possible, it's not that I don't think he's ready. I just think if you rush things, sometimes it can backfire. And having Ethan Page go over as the champion about a week after he first debuted, it's a very 50-50. It's either going to work really well or it's going to blow up in your face.
Yeah, and I also got to say, they got to play Ethan Page as a top guy for the entire time. Like, he cannot be like Lexis King, where he just like, Lexis King kind of doing his own thing right now, and he's part of that developmental thing where they're just trying to put him into small things as a vet, as a rookie, as a brash heel. I think he's trying new things. With Ethan Page, he checks off every box. So you have to have him present him as a top heel for a while, for a long time. And you cannot, have him lose steam now. So that's why I'm kind of I think it makes sense for this title match to happen. I do. However, I will say that you're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't with either winner. So it's definitely an interesting choice, but it's going to make for a great match this Sunday on NXT Battleground, which is going to be a fantastic PLE. I can already tell. I do want to touch on this before we end the show. AJ Styles, fake retirement. Absolutely magnificent segment. You know what's funny is that I think a lot of people saw it coming. Right? I think everybody can say, "Oh, look at his suit; it's definitely coming." However, the way they were presenting it was definitely different than what Mark Henry just kind of went out, and it was a shock that he was about to retire, and everybody believed it, right? But with AJ Styles, they were kind of dragging it, they were teasing it the weeks before, and I think it ended up turning out great, and I'll elaborate with that in a second. Ollie, I'll go ahead and start with you. What do you think of this AJ Styles character so far?
I'm loving it, and I didn't know how they were going to make a heel AJ Styles and not be exactly the same as he's already been when he was a heel in the past. Because if you think about it, he's grown distant from the OC, so they can't do that again. You can't play on the phenomenal thing for too long. Granted, that's been his thing for like 20 years, but you're going to have to come up with something new, because he experienced a point, AJ Styles did, where he wasn't the top guy that he used to be. And a part of that was because there was no change. So now that there has been some change, and we're seeing a sort of new but not completely new side to him, coupled with the fake retirement, which, as good as that segment was, I don't think there was a person on the planet who believed AJ was genuinely retiring. And especially when he brought Cody out, I was like, right, that's it. Cody, get some body armor on, you're getting fucking blasted. But no. Like, change was needed, and this feels refreshing. It feels like you can actually get invested in AJ Styles again, because he's had this heel turn, because he's something new. Not the same shtick we've seen since 2016 when he first debuted in WWE. So it's a very much a breath of fresh air. And it's something where you really don't know where they're going with this, because he was never going to win the WWE Championship at Backlash. That was established, because Cody, not a chance he's dropping that. And now we're past that. Where does he go? Does he challenge for a mid-card championship? Does he stay? Does he continue going after Cody? Do we get a feud there that lasts several months? Does he go over to TNA and get a last TNA run based off their anniversary show? Who the fuck knows? And that's the level of unpredictability we're getting about this that I'm really enjoying. And it couple that with this new side we're seeing to AJ. Like I said, it's a breath of fresh air. I'm liking this, and I'm very excited to see where this is going to end up going.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting. There's a lot of people saying that Cody's reign is boring, and obviously that comes with a lot of Roman fans and Roman Reigns fans. I get your sentiment with Roman Reigns. Okay, I believe it. I acknowledge my tribal chief daily. However, we all did at the same time. All right. However, look, man, he had 4 years to run a title, and that's all I'll say about that. I think this is something that was missing right now. I think Cody was putting on banger after banger, and now he's about to put on another banger at Clash at the Castle. And I think that's what it's really all about with Cody. Just challenging, just being a traditional champ. The story, we followed it. He became champ, and now he's just fighting as a champ. Have the stories been interesting? I could argue both feuds that he's had right now with AJ Styles and Logan Paul have been interesting. With Logan Paul, it was a bit quick, because Logan Paul was like, obviously it was for Saudi Arabia more than anything, and they wanted to cater to them. However, Logan Paul is so damn good, I don't even blame them for doing it. With AJ Styles, it's now you give him this new sense of desperation, and now that's how you create credibility in a heel. That's how you make a memorable opponent for Cody Rhodes. And now, is AJ Styles going to win? I doubt it. However, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, what if he does? What if he gets it done? I mean, now it makes sense, because he's really at the end of the line, and I think WWE is trying to get some of that like doubt creeped in within our minds. Like, hey, you really never know. You really never know. Maybe a Clash at the Castle is when Cody Rhodes' title reign will end. I think they're trying to create that sense of unpredictability, although I don't think anybody's going to buy it. Also, look, Cody has this thing where he really does, where he is a bit corny, I will say. He's a corny guy. But I think that's kind of like how he gets you to feel things. The fact that he's so lovable, the fact that he can relate to the kids, relate to the working man, relate to all these things. And he's not cheap baby. He's a blue blood baby face to the core. And I think that's okay. And I think that's how you create better heels. And that's how you create memorable storylines. A la AJ Styles, a la Logan Paul. Roman Reigns and his feud with Cody Rhodes was amazing. His feud with The Rock was amazing. Is there anything that Cody Rhodes is there anything that Cody Rhodes, any feud that Cody Rhodes has had where it's genuinely just been like not good? I can't really tell you. The only one I can really think of is probably Brock Lesnar. But even then, that Brock Lesnar feud just didn't make sense because like he just attacked him and it just happened. Like that had Vince McMahon all written all over that. I don't know about you guys, but with that being said, I think Cody Rhodes and his direction right now with this AJ Styles feud is picture perfect. I'm a little nervous after AJ Styles what they're going to do because they really have not built up anybody else. However, I trust WWE to really just throw anybody in there and they're going to make it believable. They're going to make it work because that's what they've been doing with Damian Priest. They've done it with Sami Zayn. They've done it with all the title contenders. So there's a reason for us to like have a trust in Triple H these days. Justin, I'll go to you. What do you think about AJ Styles and this Cody Rhodes feud?
First off, if anybody went into that episode really believing that AJ Styles was going to retire, right as WWE really started collabing with TNA, to which that man has a crown and a statue in front of TNA as a brand, y'all was bugging, especially because I'm pretty sure that a man from Gainesville, Georgia was not showing up in a powder blue suit to be retiring that way. I said it. It was a la Mark Henry kind of retirement speech, but it was in a much different way. WWE has been putting that theatrical spin that they've been doing ever since Triple H fully took over operations, and it made it more believable. They really had superstars on either side, basically showing him respect. Had the OC out there, had former TNA wrestlers there, and you believed it for a second for him to basically jump Cody at the end of it. But this is not a version of Cody Rhodes that is unfamiliar to people. This is a version of Cody Rhodes that's unfamiliar to people who don't watch anything outside of WWE. This is the same the same AJ Styles that I used to see back when it was the Main Event Mafia and Aces and Eights kind of AJ. Although AJ was more of like the loner AJ Styles back in those days. But he still had that same kind of mindset, that same kind of will do what it takes to finish the job. And this is what he's bringing into this version now in WWE. And this is what he needs to basically step up. Like, we've seen AJ Styles come in since 2016. I'll be honest, compared to the AJ Styles that I watched as a kid in TNA, his run, even though he is a Grand Slam champion, was kind of underwhelming to me in WWE. Like, he's accomplished, but he's definitely not the same phenomenal AJ Styles that I grew up watching.
Well, here's where I'd kind of bite back on that. I think his longest reign as a WWE champion, when he won it off Jinder Mahal, I think that title reign was a good reign. I do. Now, I think he had some great feuds. I think of his feud with Samoa Joe when I think that reign was actually phenomenal.
That is a rivalry that is beyond time. And you know what? Yeah. You know who deserves an Oscar for that rivalry?
Wendy. Damn, poor Wendy, man. She probably didn't even sign up for it. She was probably just there just carrying her baby. She was just carrying her. She was carrying her baby.
Which she's gone through.
She's like carrying this baby, watching this damn match, thinking nothing's about to happen. And this man literally just says his name. Wendy's probably shocked as hell because she didn't know. She had no idea this was gonna happen. AJ Styles was probably shocked too. I bet AJ Styles had no idea. My funny theory about this is that AJ Styles had no idea this was gonna happen, and that was his genuine reaction to that.
I mean, with the way Samoa Joe is on the mic, I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't know. Remember that segment when Samoa Joe was going at everybody? AJ Styles, Randy Orton.
Oh yeah.
None of them knew what was coming out his mouth.
Samoa Joe is just one of the all-time greats on the mic. And I really hope that when he comes back on AEW, they give him some good feuds to work with. I will go on and say this to finish off. Right now, I think that AJ Styles has a chance to really not revive his career, but put more meaning into his career now that he's at the end of the road. I think this new fake retirement shtick gives him an edge as a heel that he has needed for a very long time. Because when he turned heel, it was believable him turning heel. However, I do think that like he was missing that true heel feeling. Right, like there was some times where he was like a bit of a tweener, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna respect you." Like, no, I want you to cheat a little bit. You know, I want you to really act like a heel. You feel me? So I'm excited to see where this feud goes. They have a couple weeks to cook. I'm gonna be in my seat watching that feud this Friday, and let's hope that it starts to cook a bit. I don't want a boring promo, Cody. Please, not that you give boring promos in general, but just like, you know, give us something interesting now that, you know, give us an edge now that, you know, people are starting to really disrespect you. You feel me? You're from Georgia, okay? That has to mean something. I don't know. With that, oh, they are from Georgia. Wow, I forgot about that. Yeah, they're both, well, one's from Gainesville, another's from Atlanta. Those are two completely different demographics, if you know what I'm telling. I'll go ahead and end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching the WWE Fight Pit here at House Call Sports. This has been Sammy. That's Justin. And that right there is Ollie. We thank you so much for joining. Please like and subscribe. Hit that link in the description and join Vivid Seats so that you can sit vividly. With that being said, we will see you guys next time. Peace.